And then you realize that the first time and the first verse is
Yeah.
the entire
That's
song.
it.
That's it. And so I get really tired and really sick of that one really fast.
Hey, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. And Kirby's going to tell you why here in a few minutes, because we're kicking off a very special holiday-themed edition of the Promo UPFront Podcast, episode number 129 by my count. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, let's call him the captain of Christmas himself, the one and only Kris Kringle, Captain Kirby. Hasseman. Kirby, how the eggnog are you?
I'm doing pretty well. And I love when you say by my count, because we both know that my count of in the editing things, I'll send you things and the numbers are always whacked out. So always listen to Bill's count. I'm doing really well.
Good.
I think we are officially at that season where it's like, okay, we're here now. And that's kind of good, because it's like once you get to a certain level of the buildup, you're like, okay, whatever, let's just get to it.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well, buddy. How are you doing?
Doing good. Getting ready for the bomb cyclone to hit. We're getting some cold weather here.
Yeah.
Living in Chicago and in New York for a combined 15 years, I find the way, sometimes the way people prepare for the cold down here a little funny. But then again, I grew up in Texas, so I don't like it either. But tomorrow here in Nashville, the high will be 4. That's a little cold, so preparing for that. But that got me to thinking, Kirby. Got me to thinking about reflecting as we end the year, as we reflect on the end of 2022. I'm going to ask kind of a rhetorical question, if you will, Kirby. Did you focus on the most important things? Many times we feel we accomplished what we accomplish is trivial, and we end up shortchanging what is the most important thing to the growth of our respective businesses. And this begs the question, how often do you work on your business as opposed to in your business? Well, perhaps the best place to start is by asking yourself what changes you'll be making in 2023 to improve you, which in turn is going to help your sales and your marketing and enhance your success both personally and professionally. Now, our sponsor today is PXP Solutions, and they wanted to share that message. And they believe that the key is to help your clients sell more of the products and services they sell. That's their entire goal. That's all they want to do, is help your clients sell more of what they are selling. And as the premier contract decorator in the United States, their signature purpose is to help you forge those bonds that are necessary to grow your business and that of your end buyers. And they want to do that by effectively communicating through creatively decorated apparel. And I love that phrase. They want to communicate creatively through decorated apparel. And Kirby, I know you really appreciate a business partner who's focused on building your relationships and helping support your efforts.
Yeah, I mean, I often say that I'm in the business of making promises for other people, right? Because, ultimately, the other folks in our industry are the ones that are often manufacturing. And I think that people who have that 10,000-foot view of what we're trying to accomplish are the people whose promises I want to try and keep. And so I think that was a great message.
I love that. And, we all work with, business partners, whether it's suppliers or distributors, and sometimes you don't know what the intentions are. And that's what I love about PXP Solutions. So when you're ready to partner with an apparel decorator that is completely dedicated to your success, call Bruce Jolish at 214-380-1883. That's right. The man owns the place and answers his phone. That's right. If you don't want to call him, and you should, because he's a lovely conversationalist, and I mean that, he's actually truly a sweet man, go ahead and email him at bruce@pxpsolutions.com. And like I said, he'll pick up the phone. But they really wanted us to share this message from everyone at PXP Solutions. They wish everyone a safe, healthy, and prosperous new year. So love that message. So Kirby, we made an editorial decision. We're not really going to talk about Promo UPFront this week. We wanted to have a holiday-themed episode, have a little bit of fun as we wind down the year. And so we have both committed to broadcasting at that ever-elusive eggnog level. So why don't you join us on a ride through some things. So the first thing I have up front, I want to talk about the branding of Santa Claus Now, little history for everybody, and one quick question. These are going to be some rapid fire fun stuff. So the Santa Claus we see today was really created by painter Haddon Sundblom on behalf of Coca-Cola in the early 30s. Coca-Cola wanted to associate their soft drink with Santa Claus. Sundblom used Clement Clark Moore's "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," the description of Santa in that story as a jolly rotund elf in a red suit. That was his inspiration. And so all the Santas we see today in that red suit with the white trim, the rosy cheeks, that is really a creation of a marketing campaign. And he did the Coca-Cola Haddon, it's called a Haddon, the Sundblom Santa. He did that for over 40 years. And it's kind of iconic. So I wanted to ask you, with that as a background, are we doing our children a disservice? Okay, if anybody's children are listening, shut this off right now.
Right now.
Good. Shut it off. Good. Are we doing our children a disservice by perpetuating the myth of Santa?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is one of those things that I see our culture doing right now where we are wildly overthinking this particular thing. This is one of those that, you know, I think we are so quick to suck the joy out of everything in life right now. There's a little bit of magic around Christmas, okay? And that's okay. And it's funny because, of course, you know, I now have a grandson, and so I asked my daughter. You kind of gave me this topic, and I'm so glad you did, because it gave me a chance to actually be introspective about this.
Sure.
I actually asked my daughter, "Hey, what are you thinking of doing here?" And she said, you know, she kind of gave me her answer, and that there's gonna be Santa, but she wants to be upfront. So when Quincy asks, that she'll tell him the truth. And I'm like, okay, I get it. However, and we're literally driving, we were going to lunch, and she's sitting in the car, we're driving, and I said, when I tell you something right now, do you believe what I say is true? Well, yeah. So then me telling you there was a Santa Claus did not detract from our relationship.
Right.
Like, well, I actually don't remember it. Yeah, no shit. It's because you were a child. And the moment that you became old enough, and this is one of those things where we as adults actually have to be adults and understand each individual child is different, and say, look, when it's time, we'll let you in on it. Now, for me, we had Jade, who was about, 2.5 years younger. So it was like, when we told Skylar, we're like, Skylar, this is what it is. But Jade, still let her have this. It's a gift. And I think by we're sucking the joy out of it, we are doing the way we're doing it a disservice is by taking it away.
Yeah. So I completely disagree with you. You said there's a little magic in Christmas. There's an enormous amount of magic in Christmas. So that's the only thing I disagree with you on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Santa is Santa is one of those things that's an idea. It's not a person. It's an idea that lives in people's hearts. And so the way we always handled that was when the kids asked, and here's the thing, for people who are not parents or have parents of really tiny ones like Skylar, they're going to ask a lot quicker than you're ready for it.
Right.
And so the way we addressed it was, well, what do you think? And we would go by what they said. And so they said, well, I believe in Santa. Well, then that's great. They start asking questions. Yeah, they start asking questions like, there's no way. And, then it's kind of time to let them in on it. I agree. And then, we never had the whole, they were the same age, but one found out a couple hours before the other one found out because they did some talking. But I always liked that approach of, well, what do you think? And then when we talked about, okay, Santa's not a person, but it is an idea, and it's an idea that only is as strong as the people that believe in that idea. So I think we're 100% in alignment there. That's a fun little topic.
And really quickly, what was funny to me, so the way that I grew up is, and I think you know this but I'm the only biological child of my parents. Right. All my two sisters and my brother are all adopted, but we are like, my sister and I are about exactly the same age. We're literally 3 months apart. Right. And then my other sister and brother are actually biological brother and sister, and they're a year apart, but they're 10 years difference. So by the time we had sort of cycled through this, it was time to live that again with Zach and Hillary. And honestly, even as a teenager, I was like, well, it's kind of cool to watch them and the wonder and the excitement in their eyes. And then it became, okay, I'm doing this for mom and dad. I'm doing this for grandma and grandpa. And it's like, that's okay too. I don't know. I think by stealing this away, you're stealing joy from the holiday.
I agree. And there's no need to be a fun sponge, right? Especially during this time of year, you know, but that, you know, I want to amp up the podcast just a little. We're already amped up, but I'm going to amp it up just a little more because, hey, distributors, do you need to level up your email and social media marketing next year? Next year is about 10 days away, guys. Really there's no better time than right now. Promo Pulse is running a holiday sale, so get a jump on 2023 and save up to 20% on AMP when you buy an annual plan. So head over to promopulse.io/AMP. You won't be sorry you did. All right, Kirby, I believe the next topic you have is holiday traditions. Us as adults versus children, right?
Yeah. So the holiday traditions for each of us, sort of our childhood versus our adult. What's the same? What's different? So I'll let you go.
Okay, so as a child, we growing up in Dallas, where I grew up, we did not have a lot of extended family, so it was always just the four of us. I don't ever remember. I mean, in Chicago, we went to midnight mass with my grandma was Catholic and a few times, but so our Christmas Eve we would go to church, and then we'd come home, and that was Christmas Eve. No big hoo-ha dinner, nothing. Christmas morning was very specific and extremely scripted. We woke up at an appointed time. There were cards that were opened. Then there was stockings that were open, and it was one by one by one, not a free-for-all. Then we paused and had breakfast. Then we did the big gifts. And then we all had to go take showers, get dressed up, get gussied up, and go out to dinner on Christmas Day. And the reason we did that is my mom and dad, before they had kids, they decided they didn't plan and decided on Christmas Day they wanted to go eat somewhere. Every place took reservations. And so they ended up having peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for Christmas dinner. And my mother said, we will never do that again. So Christmas dinner was always a big production. And so while I love that story of my parents doing that, as a child, I hated it because I just got my, G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. I don't want to get dressed up and go to a giant buffet and loiter and linger. And then that night, my mom and dad would have an open house. And so that's kind of how we celebrated. Now, the way we celebrate, let's go to your childhood. What was your childhood Christmas Day like?
Yeah, I tell you, just real quick, Christmas Eve was really where the tradition was, at least I remember.
No, I meant, I'm sorry, the whole thing.
Yeah. So we started doing, when I was pretty much all that I can remember my childhood, my parents had friends and a group over on Christmas Eve. And there were years where it was a pretty big party. I think back and I'm like, God, my parents were tough for still managing to get presents wrapped and all that stuff after that party, because there was some later nights I think that they were after a little bit. And so that was always, even as I grew up, I just thought it was fun. It was a super festive time. Santa would come to our house because there were other kids that came. And then the other piece that we've done for years and years and years is we did the luminaries, where we took milk jugs, filled them with sand, candles. We started it, and that actually continues sort of, and I'll get to that to this day on where we had just moved from. And so those were the two big sort of traditions in my mind. It was like we had this big Christmas Eve party, then we did the luminaries, and then Christmas, we woke up, did the gift thing, and then we traveled around to see family. And so that was sort of what I remember. And I had lots of cousins growing up, so I got to see them always on Christmas Day, and so that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So as an adult, I like I said, I look back at my childhood, and in that part of it, and I never loved that type of Christmas. It just felt so scripted. I have to do this, this, and this, and I just wanted to watch play with my toys and stuff. So I went the entire opposite way. So the way we do it now is usually we have people come in, extended family if they're available, come in. Usually my mother and father-in-law, and they're not coming this year, unfortunately, just can't make it. And my sister-in-law. So they'd come in, and we would Christmas Eve, we go to Christmas Eve service. Then we go out to eat. We go to kind of an earlier Christmas Eve service now, not a midnight mass. I'm a little too old for that. But we go out and have a nice Christmas Eve dinner. We go to a nice restaurant, have something whatever. And then Christmas morning, it's just when everybody wakes up. It's just not a free for all, but we enjoy that morning. And then I cook along with Sandy. I cook a big giant rib roast that you try to get about 2 or 3 weeks in advance, dry age it a little bit, do little fun stuff with it. And she makes all the side dishes, and then we just relax. I mean, it's a whole day of basically just relaxing, and I love it that way. A lot of laughter, a lot of fun.
That's really good. It's a weird year to talk to me about traditions about the holidays, just because, as you know, it is. We've moved. We're living in a little cottage, which is great, but not enough room to have people over. The luminary, because of the weather that you're talking about, which we've done since I'm thinking about since I was like 10 or 11 or 12 years old, I've been a part of something like this. They've canceled it for this year because putting it out, it's supposed to be, when that's happening, it's supposed to be like -5 plus 50-mile-an-hour winds. We just can't have people out in that. And so I get it. Yeah. And so all of my traditions, still disappointing though. Yeah. All of my traditions are kind of on hold. When we were younger, I'd say the biggest mistake, when Aim and I were younger and we had the kids, is we were very blessed because we did have family around, but I never said no to going to places. And so on Christmas and Thanksgiving, I got to a point where I didn't enjoy them anymore because we would wake up, do Christmas morning, and then we literally, I want to say, and gosh, it's been years, but I'd have 8 to 10 stops on Christmas Day all over the state. And it was like, by the time I was so exhausted, by the time we got back home on Christmas, Christmas night, that it was like, okay, whatever. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to be honest with you, in the new place, of sort of being a little bit more intentional and sort of creating those new traditions, I guess. And so that's what I'm looking for.
We were really intentional after we had the kids that we would not travel on Christmas. People were welcome here. We're not going anywhere because we wanted, Santa comes to our house. Not that you can't have Santa travel and all that, but Santa comes to our house. Santa comes to our house. So I love that stuff. All right, now we're gonna have some fun.
Okay.
Now it's time for some. Now we might debate some of these ones. I'm actually excited about these. So we got a couple categories, things around Christmas we would like to talk about. The first one is, we're going to talk about the 3 our choices individually for the 3 worst non-religious Christmas songs.
Yep.
I would like you to start with your number 3 choice, Kirby.
Number 3 would be Feliz Navidad.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Feliz Navidad is one of those songs that I think that, like, the first time I hear it during the year, I'm like, oh yeah. And then you realize that the first time and the first verse is the entire song. That's it. And so I get really tired and really sick of that one really fast. And so that would be number 3.
I get that. I agree with you. My number 3 is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I don't like that song. I think it's dumb. I don't think it's clever. I don't think it's funny. I don't get it at all. To me, it's just it's an instant tune out for me. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer is my number 3 worst song.
Number 2 worst song is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. It was a joke that somehow became viral. It's a terrible song. It is one of the worst songs of all time. And we've decided it's a tradition because we've done it every year, even though it sucks. Terrible song.
I would rather listen to Pac-Man Fever for 20 hours straight than hear that song ever again. All right. My number 2 is the creepiest Christmas song known to man, Baby It's Cold Outside.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one makes me
good one. Very good choice. It's a bad song. No. I agree with you.
You're not going to get Me Too'd on that. You're right. That whole song is a Me Too moment. It is creepy. It's just gross. The way the woman sings is always like very sultry, and the guy's like, "I won't you just stay?" It makes me want to take a shower. So my number 2 is Baby It's Cold Outside.
It's funny. I actually asked the team. We just did our Christmas party this week, and that was one of the ones that was brought up. And somebody said that song's very rapey. Was actually the words they used. I'm like, yeah,
it is.
I don't have it on my list, but that I buy that one completely.
All right, number 1, Kirby.
Number 1 will be the one that is the most controversial. All I Want for Christmas Is You. I don't
think it's that controversial. That song.
But they don't though. It's like they say it's the number 1 song, and I think part of it is I don't really like Mariah Carey. And I am so over that song that it's played over and over and over. You put on any Christmas song channel and they're playing that one. And I got tired of it about 10 years ago.
Yeah, I get it. I understand your perspective. I don't hate it that much. I don't want to listen to it. Don't get me wrong. It does, it's enough. But my number one,
I know what your
hurts me because you know what it is.
I know.
It's my favorite artist of all time, Paul McCartney. It is a wonderful Christmas time. It is such a stinky do. It's terrible. It does nothing to put me in a festive mood. The music doesn't age well. It's terrible. I want to do an honorable mention, if I may, though. Sure. Anything by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra makes me so tense. That music is so intense. I feel like there's a murder about to happen at the North Pole. That stuff makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. You know what my favorite Christmas song is?
Yeah.
Wonderful Christmas Time.
Yeah, I know. No, it's not. Okay. Now we're going to talk about our 5 best Christmas movies. Our 5 favorite Christmas movies. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I even wrote some down.
I will go first.
Okay, cool.
I will go first. My 5th favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Vacation. It doesn't hold up as well as people think. There's a pretty couple of good lulls in the middle, but overall it's a very good movie. It's fun. You can't go wrong with Cousin Eddie, draining his RV in the sewer. So Christmas Vacation is my 5th favorite Christmas movie.
Okay. Number 5 for me is Elf. That's just one of those classics with Will Ferrell. I think it's one of those that I could watch that one every year. That's just fun. I like that one a lot.
Good choice. Number 4 is probably going to surprise a few people. Polar Express. Now, part of it is probably because I watched it with my kids when they were younger. Sure. The animation obviously has gotten much better, but Tom Hanks does a great job in the multiple roles he plays. It's just a very sweet little story. My wife and I actually watched it last Friday night on a lark. It's a great movie, The Polar Express.
Dig it. Number 4 for me is Scrooged. I know you don't care for that one, but I do. I think it's just a fun take on Charles Dickens, and I actually I love the fact that Buddy Hackett's in it and Mary Lou Retton's in it. It's just so quintessentially 80s. Yeah. I just love that one.
Yeah, I don't hate that movie, by the way. It's just not my favorite. So I do like Scrooge. If during this time of year, if I'm flipping around, I find Scrooge, I'll probably give it a roll for a while. So I don't hate it that much. All right, my number 3, A Christmas Story with Ralphie, and that's a great one. That's one. They do the marathon, for the entire 24 Hours of Christmas on TNT and TBS. I think they do it on both. I just love that movie. It's I didn't grow up in the 40s, but it's just a one I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny. That is, I think you and I've talked about this before, just separately. Yeah. That I of all the Christmas movies, I do not like that Christmas movie. I
get it.
Yeah, no, that one's not mine. The Santa Claus. So the Tim Allen movie where Tim, picks up the suit, puts on the hat, and all of a sudden there's a car. I just love the concept that there's an actual clause that makes you now Santa. I actually rewatched that one this year, just to see if I was still like it.
Held up.
And I was like, you know what? That's still pretty awesome. And it talks about the magic that kids believe and that they have that in their hearts. I like that. I think it's good to be reminded of that.
I like that movie. When I was sick with COVID last Christmas and really down and out, I just watched movie after movie, and I watched all the Santa Clauses. They get worse as they go. Yeah, the first one's very good, though. Yeah. All right, my number 2 is Elf. You've mentioned it. I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. Will Ferrell. I don't know if there's a role that was better created for Will Ferrell. It's not Anchorman. It's to me, he's Elf, and he embodies that joyful spirit that we love this time of year. When he goes in the coffee shop that says, world's best coffee. You did it. And there's just something so innocent and childlike about it. I love that movie. So Elf is my number 2 choice.
I love that. And I think that a couple of these we could mix orders, and we did, because number 2 for me is Christmas Vacation. It is one of those movies that is, and I'm with you. I think there are some parts of it that get slow, but the scenes that are amazing are so amazing. They're amazing. That it carries the whole thing.
100%. All right, my number 1 movie. It's going to surprise a few people. It is A Christmas Carol, the 1951 version with starring Alistair Sim as Scrooge. It's in black and white. It's very well acted, very well done. I love that story. It's why I like Scrooge. It's just a classic tale that I really, really enjoy. Honorable mention to the 1999 version with Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek fame. He played Scrooge and did a wonderful job at it. He's a great actor. But I love that 1951 version. 100% A Christmas Carol, my favorite movie.
Yeah, that's good. Number one, it is not Christmas until I see Hans Gruber fall from the Nakatomi Plaza. Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie. And so, yeah, I know what you're going to say, but it is a Christmas movie and it is my favorite one.
Okay, I prepared for this. I love Die Hard. I think it's a great movie. And I kind of came around on this, but now I'm going back the other way. It's not a Christmas movie. So I now have the philosophy of just because a movie takes place during Christmas does not make it a Christmas movie. Let me give you some examples. Die Hard, Die Hard 2. Trading Places, not a Christmas movie. Home Alone, also not a Christmas movie. Don't care what people say. Batman Returns, take place over Christmas, not a Christmas movie. Gremlins, Edward Scissorhands, You've Got Mail, Kirby. I could go on and on. I've got a list.
And you can have all the damn list you want. And Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is the quintessential story of a man trying to get to his family during Christmas. There's Christmas music. It's set at Christmas time. His wife's name is Holly. It's a Christmas movie and it's the best one. It's my favorite one.
Okay. Well, I love the movie. I absolutely love the movie. And I understand the perspective, but I believe you're wrong. All right. I think that was all we're going to talk about, but I have a quick quiz for you, Kirby.
Well,
I did a little extra prep.
Okay, good. Can I give you just because I think this will be interesting and timely, super quick. So new Christmas movie this year. I want to give an honorable mention. It doesn't make my top 5, but it was interesting. And probably not everybody's seen it yet. It's the new movie called Spirited. It's with Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. You did? So
I did.
Not the best movie of all time. The production was incredible. It was one of those I wanted to like a little more than I did, but it's worth checking out, I think.
You encapsulated exactly what I thought about that movie. I love Ryan Reynolds. He's kind of one of my man crushes. I mean, I think he's a lady crush. Everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Well acted, not particularly well written. Some of it felt forced, and it was you know what it was? It was really pleasant. It was very pleasant.
Totally worth watching. Totally worth watching.
It was a good spin, but if I don't watch it for 5 Christmases, I'm okay. Much like Die Hard. Okay, so I have a holiday quiz for you, Kirby. This is according to the website The Pioneer Woman. Okay. The most popular Christmas movies by state. Okay. So I'm just going to give you a state. We've mentioned almost every single one. So, I mean, there's a couple here you might want to reach for. California, what would their favorite Christmas movie be?
I'm gonna go Elf.
Edward Scissorhands, not a Christmas movie. Just because it takes place during Christmas, not a Christmas movie. New York,
Home Alone.
100%. Give Kirby a prize. Minnesota.
By the way, that's a terrible movie.
It's not a great movie.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Yep.
Is that Christmas Vacation?
No, it's A Wonderful Life. And here's
a good one. That's a good one.
I've never made it through that whole movie. I want to. I know it's really like a really sweet message and Jimmy Stewart, but man, I just I can't make it through.
I can get my head behind that though. I mean, I get what you're saying, and it's not my favorite movie, but if like Dustin,
I like the idea.
Dustin, he said it's his number 1 favorite movie. Forget Christmas of all time. So I mean, I get it. It's just not my jam.
Yeah. Okay. Nevada. We only got a few more. Nevada. We're heading to PPI Expo in Las Vegas here in a couple weeks. Nevada.
God, I don't know. A Christmas Story.
Bad Santa.
Okay, that actually makes sense now. That's my fault.
Here's one. All right, let's see real quick. Utah.
Let's go with
Think wholesome.
It's
one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
The Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus. Okay, yeah, okay.
All right, now here's some weird ones, and I'm going to do Massachusetts, then I'm doing our states. Okay. Massachusetts. What's their favorite one?
Massachusetts. We'll go with Elf on that one.
No, that would be a Muppet Christmas Carol, and I'm like, what? What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't want Gonzo playing Scrooge. I don't even know who plays Scrooge in that.
Oh my God. That's weird.
All right. Tennessee, Kirby.
Tennessee. I'm just going to keep saying elf until I get it right.
Okay. You're not going to get it right. So you can say elf all day long.
Okay.
It's Four Christmases.
Oh God. With Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon.
Okay. I guess never seen it.
Never seen it. It's not
last
a classic.
One is last one is OHIO.
So it's not elf. So I'm gonna go with Die Hard.
No, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Home Alone 2. Why would we like the second one? The first one sucked.
I don't know. So I guess the message that we're trying to share with you this holiday season is don't go to the Pioneer Woman for statistics and data. It's not going to work out real well for you. But hey, now is a great time to reflect on 2022. We're wrapping up the year, and the folks at PXP Solutions, I should say, want to remind you that they are the premier contract decorator in the United States, and they have one singular purpose, and that's to help you forge the bonds necessary to grow your business and that of your clients. And they do that by effectively communicating through creatively decorated apparel. Give them a shout. Bruce Jolish, terrific guy, owner, and he will answer his phone 214-380-1883, or you can email him if that's your preferred method of communication at bruce@pxpsolutions.com. And they want to wish you, and I think Kirby and I would join in this, wishing everybody a happy, prosperous, and safe, healthy new year. Kirby,
Home Alone
I guess
2?
That's a wrap on which way. Home Alone 2.
That's right.